And we're live. Okay, everyone, welcome to another episode of Agriafriq interviews. Um, yes, welcome. And for those of you that have been following us on the journey so far, thank you so much for all of your support. And for those of you that are new on the page as well, thank you so much. Okay, just one moment. I'm going to add our guest, Mrs. Eva Roberts, right now. Just one moment. Thanks. Okay. Hi guys, welcome everyone, welcome. I think they've changed this. Okay. She's going to join shortly. But yeah, Instagram live has changed, which is good. So is it loading? Yeah. Perfect, amazing.
Yes,
Welcome, Mrs. Roberts. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on this Instagram live.
You are.
And I'll introduce you shortly. But let me just quickly say hello to everyone and just welcome everyone. Okay. Are you ready to go now, or do you want to come back in a few minutes?
No, I'm fine. I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. So,
Mm.
welcome everyone to Agriafriq interviews. Today we're going to be interviewing Mrs. Eva Roberts of More Vigor. So Mrs. Eva Roberts is actually something of a legend in Sierra Leone. So I'm really excited to be interviewing her today. So without further ado, I'll let her introduce herself and just basically give us a background of who she is. Yeah. So welcome, Zanela. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but yeah, welcome everyone, and just thank you so much for being with us. But okay, off to you, Mrs. Roberts. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Celeste. I am Eva Roberts. I am a medical doctor, trained 30 some years ago. I studied, worked, and lived abroad, and decided to come home in 2007 with my husband. And we were going to come to a business we just set up in the cassava industry. Um,
Okay.
Growing and processing cassava products. And we just happened to come upon Moringa quite by chance on the internet. I was doing some research on water purification, and I came across Moringa seeds that I use as natural water purification. But then reading on, I realized that it wasn't just that. I mean, Moringa was something that was full of vitamins and minerals and all sorts of good things. And I thought there was going to be some synergy between Moringa and my profession. So
Yeah.
I went for it. And
Okay.
yeah, here we are.
So I forgot to mention that actually Mrs. Roberts is actually the one that produces the Agriafriq teas that we sell. So she also sells her teas in Sierra Leone. So any supermarket in Sierra Leone that calls itself a supermarket has Mrs. Roberts tea. So if you're in Sierra Leone and you want like a really good tea, definitely go and get Mrs. Roberts tea, More Vigor tea in Sierra Leone.
Mm.
So there's 3 flavors: the plain moringa, moringa with lemongrass, and moringa and ginger. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Mrs. Roberts, I know that you have an interesting business model in the sense that you provide the seeds, the moringa seeds, to some smallholder farmers, and then
Mm-hmm.
you buy the moringa from them once they've harvested the
Yeah.
moringa. Is there a particular reason why you chose that business model? Why was it important to do it that way?
Well, I'll tell you, when we started out in say 2009, folks didn't really know about Moringa. There were a
Yeah.
few plants jotted about the place, but it was going to be difficult, we realized, in convincing them to switch to something of which they knew nothing about, you know.
Mm.
So we tried, to encourage them that this was a cash crop, had a very short growing cycle, but we weren't getting anywhere. So we decided we were going to nurse the seeds, do the seedlings, and get it to them, and then buy it off them. So once they realized we were really buying it off them, we're not just wasting their time, we got more and more people coming on board. So it was really a case of people not being aware of what we were talking about, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So, so is there anything you wish you knew before you started in business? Because I obviously know that you're a doctor, so, but now you're a doctor and an entrepreneur. So is
I
there
can't
anything?
hear you very well.
Okay, just one moment. Can you hear me now? Oh. Can you hear me now?
Ah, that's better. Yes, that's better. That's
Okay, good.
better, yeah.
So I was just saying that because your background, so you're a medical doctor, but now you're also an entrepreneur. So is there anything you wish you knew prior to starting out your entrepreneurship journey?
Well, I tell you, I wish I knew the extent of the lack of like I said, I left Sierra Leone in 1977. So coming back to start a business, you realize there was a dearth in people with technical knowledge, knowledge of basic business practices, lack of knowledge of, especially amongst the youth, of not just waiting for things to be handed to you, of going out and doing things yourself. That is really the big problem. Might it have stopped me had I known? I don't know, because I was quite convinced in what I was doing. But I wish I knew the extent of the efforts that I'll have to put into it. But it's been frustrating at times. But when you do make gains, it's been very encouraging. So that is what keeps us going.
Okay. So basically the youth need more training so that they can actually benefit the business from the get-go. Okay. So we need to basically try
that needs to be done from the whole schooling system needs to be changed. I mean, it's about time we moved away from the 3 R's for everybody. But it's about time
the 3 R's. Sorry, what's the 3 R's?
Reading, writing, arithmetic. That's what they said in those days. You know, if you weren't proficient in those, you were nobody. Which led people to think that if you weren't proficient in those, you were left on the scrap heap. So we should now start teaching and training our youth right from birth that going into business is a big thing. In fact, you need more nows than somebody who's just going into the professions, you know. So I wish this is where we need to change.
100% agreed.
Sorry, I've lost you.
Definitely gonna. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Not quite.
Okay, I'll just keep talking until you can hear me. Can you hear? How about now? Oh, there's a little issue with the network, but it's fine. It will come back properly.
Yeah. No, okay, yes, I keep being interrupted by a call coming in, but never mind.
Okay. So definitely, I completely agree with you, because there's so many different ways of earning a living, and it's not everyone that has to be. I know you're a trained doctor, and I'm pursuing the legal career as well. But there's so much more out there. It's not just being a doctor, being a lawyer. There's so many things people can do, and because we're like, especially in Africa, we're blessed. God has blessed us with so much nature and so many things that if we just sit down and think and strategize and even do some collaborations and partnerships and ensure that we get the correct training, there's so much money to be made. So yeah, 100% agree about getting the training and taking the proactive step to think outside of the box and do stuff. But
absolutely.
So speaking of being proactive, I know that in Africa, we're notorious for exporting our natural resources without adding value to our natural resources, which obviously is not as beneficial as if we actually added. So, for example, with you, you have the Moringa teas and you've got the Moringa powders, etc. So you've added value to what we naturally have. You put it in really lovely packaging, etc. But why is it important, or do you think it's important for us Africans to add value to our natural resources? And if so, why is it important?
Oh, it's absolutely important. I mean, think of the Ivory Coast and Ghana in those days, growing the best cocoa in the world and then importing chocolate. I mean, that is just so silly. And we've done it here in Sierra Leone as well. I mean, in the heyday of our iron ore industry, just exporting the raw iron ore and then re-importing iron rods for buildings, you know. So, and I think, I hope I'm not being unkind when I think it's just, it demonstrates our leaders. Yes, we always go back to lack of funds or lack of power, but all it takes is some research and development to know what we can do with this stuff. You know, and we can make the power, we can make the energy. So we really need to, and just think of the amount of jobs we provide, you know, and sustainable industry and more income upstream and downstream if we did add value instead of just sending the raw stuff. I mean, if you think about it, when we export a shipload of whatever it is, extractive stuff, whether it's iron ore or bauxite, whatever. Just think what else goes in that ship and what they get to do with it over there to send back to us at a very exorbitant rate. So we are so losing out on what God has given us. So it is very important that we start to add value.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree with that. But I think we need to do more to incentivize people to actually do the research and the development. And I hope that through this platform, more people will actually want to, maybe they'll be inspired to actually add value to the things that we have in Africa. Or someone said, recognizing our own natural, so true. And our own natural resources, so true. So I'm passionate about economic development in Africa, and I think that every African, whether or not they live in Africa or abroad, so if they're Africans in the diaspora, I think we should all contribute towards developing the continent. We can all do it in different ways, and some people they have amazing ideas and they want to go on the ground, so they want to go to Africa and they want to start certain businesses, agribusiness ventures, whatever, but they are, I guess, they're apprehensive because, as you say, there's so many issues, lack of training, etc. So what advice would you give to someone who has an amazing business idea, but is just a bit apprehensive and just is, I guess, a bit scared to go and actually do something on the ground in Africa or in Sierra Leone, somewhere in Sierra Leone?
I think first of all, you must ask yourself, why do you want to come? You have to be very sure. If you're coming to make a fast buck, don't come. If you're coming to invest in human capital, then you must ask yourself, have I got the time, the money, the patience? Because it takes a hell of a lot of those. Because it can be very frustrating, but it can be most rewarding as well. And then also, make sure you talk to a wide range of people, either people in business or in finance or whatever. I am afraid some of us are very good at dissuading people from coming because we're afraid of the competition. That person is coming with more money, more knowledge, instead of thinking, I may be able to collaborate with that person, which might improve my own business, etc. You know, so be careful who you talk to. Get a wide range of idea. Do your research. I mean, there's so much knowledge out there. You just have to go on the internet and you can find people who are already doing the stuff you want to do, who will be very interested in collaborating with you. You know, so do your homework. Do your homework. It's very important. And don't listen to the naysayers. I mean, we're always talking about Africa, or in particular Sierra Leone, being a very difficult place to do business in. Where isn't, I ask? The United States is, Europe is, every place has its own difficulties. So you really have to ask yourself, do I want to come? Do I have the money? Do I have enough resource to support me, say, for the first 5 years? Because I'm not going to make a penny. I'll need to start putting money in. Am I going to be able to put in the time? Yes, if you want to party 24 hours a day, you're not going to do business. You know, you have to have eyes at the back of your head. You have to have ears everywhere. You have to be able to get around, talk to everybody, you know. And that is what makes it so exciting, because I don't think we have that kind of opportunity when we live abroad. Because abroad is so full of laws and rules that strangulate, you know. Whereas with Africa, yes, rules are good, but I mean, rules should be there to encourage, not to stop you doing business, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's really great advice, actually. Yeah, something to bear in mind. So, another question is, do you think more young, we've kind of touched on this already, but I just want to ask the question a bit more directly. So do you think that more Africans need to engage in agribusiness, and if so, why?
Yes, they need to, because there is so much. I mean, I usually say, if you think that, first of all, it is not for dropouts, as I've said before. And I'll just tell you, when I first came, and I'll be going up to my farm in McCamey, and folks will be stopping me. So have you given up on the medicine business? We hear you are into farming now. Why farming? Your parents were not farmers. And they say that farmers with that kind of look and intonation, as if to say, you know, you've got all this education and you're going into farming. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. We need to eat. The world needs to eat. And you find the Western world is increasingly looking to the South for food production. But when they come down south for food production, is to export back to their own people, because they are running out of arable land, and we have loads of that. So why don't we come, grow, process, and sell to the North instead of leasing our valuable land? So there is so much to be done. In Sierra Leone, we have, I think, 60% of our land is just lying fallow. You know, nobody doing anything about it. We are interested in making a fast buck, so we'll import clothing to sell. We don't even make the clothing here most of the time, you know? So there is a lot to do. But we must begin to learn collaboration. Find people in your own field that you think you might be able to collaborate with. And because we are not very trusting, I think is the word. You might talk to somebody, you know, the first 2-3 times, and you mightn't get anywhere, but keep at it. Go at them from different angles, so they see you are not after them for them to take their business away from them, or that kind of thing. And so they realize that when 2 or 3 people come together, it makes for better business.
Definitely agreed. Definitely agreed. I asked you earlier about what you wished you knew before starting your entrepreneurship journey, and for me, one of the things that I've learned in such a short period of time is the fact that it's going to constantly be on your mind. When you're sleeping, you're thinking about it. When you're awake, you're thinking about it. When you're doing other things, it's constantly on your mind. So if you're collaborating with other people, then you have people to share it's not a burden, because it's like hopefully it's something you're passionate about, so it's enjoyable. But when you collaborate, you have like you're able to bounce ideas off people. You can share the load, and
Mm-hmm.
probably even achieve more than you ordinarily would
Mm.
if you were just going
On
alone.
your own.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that's definitely okay. So you do think we should be getting involved in agribusiness. So then, are there any areas of opportunity that you want to highlight for, I guess, for agribusiness ventures in Sierra Leone or in Africa,
Mm.
that maybe hasn't really been touched on just yet, or maybe it has, but not to a really good level? I hope that question makes sense.
No, it does make sense. I've got kind of 3 or 4 things in areas in mind. One is
Okay.
cassava. There's so much you can do with cassava, from providing anything being done about cassava at all. So, for example, it is part of our Local Content Act in Sierra Leone that 10
Mm-hmm.
flour for bread making or cake making should include 10% of cassava flour. But it's in the statute books, but nothing is being done about it. So
Okay.
we have to take the bull by the horns. We have to go into mechanical farming, not just one man and his whole.
Yeah.
Rice is our staple food here. We're
Yeah.
importing 95% of the rice we eat. When I was little, we were actually exporting rice. Onions, we eat so much of that stuff, you'll be surprised. But we're still importing quite a lot of it. And then if you take
Yeah.
animal feed production from waste
Mm-hmm.
agribusiness materials, you know, there are people now who are beginning to go into aquaculture or poultry. I mean, there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
you can do with that. So there is so much, you know, to be done. We just have to come in, look at the areas that are untapped, see if we have the passion for it. Because, of course, if you don't have the passion for it, don't bother. Don't come into it
Yeah.
for the because you will not make
Mm.
money. You know, you must
Yeah.
have the passion for it so that even
Mm.
on those times when things don't go well,
Yeah.
you keep going because you know it's just a matter of time. You believe in your business model. You keep improving on your business model. You keep learning, you know. So there's I mean those are just kind of 3 or 4 areas that I'm interested in. And you know there are days when I wake up and I think, oh gosh, I wish I was 30 years younger. I wish I knew then what I know now. But anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to kind of get people involved and talk to people involved, especially young folks like yourselves, to say, well, listen, if we
Mm.
don't do it, who's going to do it? And if we
Yeah.
don't do it, we're going to get people from the north or from the east coming to lease our lands to grow food and take home, and we're not going to
Yeah.
benefit from it.
Mm. I mean,
Mm.
I understand the point you make that you wish you were 30 years younger, so that because if you knew what you know now. But I think you're inspiring so many of us that are a bit younger to do certain things. So,
Good.
I mean, I
I'm
guess we're
great.
doing the things that you probably would have been
We,
doing.
mm,
Yeah. So I think so. Thank you so much for that. So
you're
what
welcome.
else? So what business achievement are you most proud of to date?
Um, I am proud that I've sustained the business, especially the Moringa business, through the
Mm-hmm.
5 years or 4 or 5 years of Ebola, and now through the present COVID pandemic. And we
Yeah.
have not let any of our staff go. Yes,
Brilliant.
it hasn't been easy, but I mean, I think you know it gives me great joy that we're able to do that, and we're looking forward to, and we're beginning to see it with business, world economy reopening, reemerging. You know, we're beginning to see interest from abroad.
Yeah.
I am very proud of the fact that when the young folks come to work with us, they don't just come as workers. We are training them in business ideas, in computing, in small research and development, in just everyday managing themselves, their families, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So, you know, I'm really very proud of that. I think in my own small way, I'm able to contribute towards the growth of the young.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely. And that is it, isn't it? Because a lot of us are interested in development. A lot of us are, we love our continent, we love our countries, and we want to contribute in a positive way. But it doesn't have, but we have these, it doesn't have to be like a grandiose idea. Like a small
Mm-mm.
idea executed well, involving
Yeah,
people, is good enough.
yes.
You're making a difference, and that's exactly what you're doing. So
Hmm.
congratulations on that. So final
Hmm.
question then, if there was one piece of advice you could give to a young African, whether or not they're in Sierra Leone or wherever, what would that one piece of advice be?
Be prepared. Don't just come with blinkers on.
Yeah,
Be prepared to be self-sufficient. If you're coming into business, especially the agribusiness, be
yeah,
prepared to be self-sufficient in power, whether it's
yeah.
solar or generator or hybrid, because you can't depend on the national grid.
Okay,
Be prepared to be self-sufficient in water. You have to
okay,
dig your own borehole.
wow, okay,
Well, you can never be too prepared for the frustrations because it hits you when you least expect it. But be prepared that you're going to get that,
mm,
you know. And the rest, pray to God every day to give you the
yeah,
strength, you know, to carry on. And to because that is what I do. I pray, you know, that God continues to give me the strength to carry on, that God continues to um, push me in the direction of like-minded people that I can
yeah,
learn from, that
mm-hmm.
could encourage me, you
Yeah,
know, that kind of stuff, not the ones that want to pull you down because perhaps, unfortunately for them, they tried and they gave up too soon, you know.
mm,
So just be prepared that it is not going to be easy, but it is going to be very gratifying when you do make it.
yeah.
Mm.
Amazing. Well, on that note, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Mrs. Roberts, for everything, not just for coming on this live, but just for everything that you've done, that you're doing, and that you're going to do for inspiring all of us, whether it be in Sierra Leone, in the UK, or in America. And speak to you soon. And everyone that's watched, thank you so much for watching. And please share this video. And if you'd like to watch it again, I'll upload it on Instagram Live, and it will also be on our Facebook and our YouTube pages. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Happy
Bye.
Easter.
Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter, Mrs. Roberts.
Bye
Bye.
bye.